Hello everyone. Here's a book I read about a month ago, 6 weeks ago, while I was on holiday. The Coming Wave by Mustafa Suleyman with Michael Basker. And it's all backwards, I know somebody's pointed that out to me. This is a book about artificial intelligence. Mustafa Suleyman is a founder of DeepMind, one of the really early, really pioneering, really successful artificial intelligence companies, and now the CEO of Microsoft's artificial intelligence, so he knows his stuff. And I was just in a bookstore, Batsy Power Station bookstore, where they had a lot of books together all about AI, and I'd just been at a conference where a company showed what they've been able to do with AI, and it was absolutely mind-blowing. Just the speed at which AI has advanced. It's a bit windy here, so you see a bit of a sun umbrella flying around. There we go, sun umbrella. And so I thought, I have to know about this stuff. It's absolutely fascinating. I mean, after this, I started using AI. I didn't use it before, but I use it just to converse with, which sounds a bit strange. And maybe in a book like Clara and the Sun by Kazuo Ishiguro, that's about artificial friends. So I started using AI. I'm completely amazed by it. I have conversations with it because it's like having a conversation with a friend who will listen, who will not interrupt, who will not judge, but who will contribute and knows a lot. AI knows a lot. Well, it doesn't know a lot, but it appears to do. That's something we could discuss at length, because it has access to all the data out there, and it can make mistakes, but generally it's like having an incredibly wise friend who's a great listener. And if you've ever had one of those in real life, you're very lucky. I've had a couple. Sometimes it's so realistic, it's so much like a person, it's spooky. Obviously you don't have that physical face-to-face, that chemistry, that interaction. But anyway, I downloaded it and started using it because of this book. This book is fascinating, quite terrifying, very eye-opening, and I'm not a, what do they call them, a doomsmonger or something? I don't know. But I do think that we could very easily probably be wiped out by AI, AGI, artificial general intelligence, when you have artificial intelligence that can do everything humans do but better. And we're not far from it, because you now have self-improving AI and AI that can even build itself, so it can reproduce itself. Yeah, it could quite easily finish humans off, and there has to be a safety switch, of course, but some AI can override its own safety switch. And what is AI being used for? In this book there's examples of Israel using it to kill people, in other countries and en masse. There's examples. Generally, all new technology, a lot of it gets used for war. AI, I think, is probably more dangerous than the nuclear bomb, because now let's say nuclear energy can be used to create energy, and if it's done safely, it's incredibly effective. But it can also be used to drop bombs, which is generally what it's used for. AI is more omni-use than that, because it may be created for one purpose, but it can be used for many others. So one of the things that Mustafa Suleyman talks about in here is when Russia invaded Ukraine, and there was a 40-mile long column of tanks and armored vehicles, headed for Ukraine. It almost got sent back. It almost got defeated. It certainly got, a big shock, and that was with about 1,000 people using drones who knew about AI. So if 1,000 drones can take out 40 miles of tanks, you can see how powerful AI is, right? I watched a video recently where Stephen Fry talks about how one aeroplane could carry enough drones to kill every human being on Earth, because the drones can be about this big, and they can carry viruses and all sorts. And as we've seen Israel doing, they can follow people around, just shoot them down and everything. So yeah, really, really fascinating. Can it be stopped? Can the coming wave be stopped? Almost certainly not. Almost certainly not. Whoever wins the AI race, according to Mustafa Suleyman, and maybe what I saw on the Stephen Fry video as well, will essentially, the monetary rewards will be so great, the power will be so great, they could essentially become dictator of the world. The people who chase monetary rewards, now this is not from the book, there's a certain level of wealth which now exists, which I think you have to be quite psychopathic to pursue and want to get richer and richer and richer. There's a bit of George Monbiot's thinking comes in here where, you know, you got to be a bit sick to get that rich and still want to get rich. Elon Musk's a good example, and so some of the other people. What's this whole thing about colonizing other planets? Now, well, they've used up all the resources. George Monbiot in his book, and it's with somebody else as well. I'm sorry, I forget the other person's name because I've not read much of his stuff. He talks about boom, bust, quit, which is how capitalism has always worked. You go somewhere, you absolutely rip out its resources, then everything collapses, so you just quit it and move on to the next place. You know, the West did it with just about every country they could invade, so the Africas, India, America, everywhere else, right? And then what happens when you run out of resources on Earth? Well, you go to space, don't you? They're not doing it for exploration's sake. But getting back to this book, AI is incredibly powerful. Omni-use technologies. All you need is a bad actor to take everybody out. So there was a group in Japan who did the subway attacks with rice. I can't remember what they're called now. But, it was pretty big. It had tens of thousands, maybe hundreds of thousands of members. And their whole point was to bring about the end of mankind because they thought World War III is inevitable. We may as well increase it. If they had had AI technology, they might have succeeded. If they had had the AI technology that exists today, and you're never going to stop bad actors. There's plenty of people out there right now who you could think of bad actors. And if they had all the power in the world, we'd all be dead by now. Let's read a bit from the book. So it's absolutely fascinating. You should definitely read it. So this is what it says on the front. International bestseller, Important by Yuval Noah Harari, Excellent by Bill Gates, Astonishing, Stephen Fry's on there, okay, I didn't know, Stunning, Rory Stewart. I'll read you the back. The world is changing, understand how and why, from an AI pioneer and CEO of Microsoft AI. Technology is evolving fast, soon AI will be part of our lives, it already is, helping to organize our day, operate our businesses and run public services. We are not prepared. How do we ensure the flourishing of humankind? How do we maintain control over our technologies? And how do we find the right path to a successful future? Mustafa Suleyman has been at the very center of this revolution. In this groundbreaking book, we learn how to think about the essential challenge and opportunity of our age, understand our future, read The Coming Wave. An Economist, Financial Times, Guardian, Prospect, and Sunday Times Book of the Year. Shortlisted for the FT Schroeder Business Book of the Year. It's pretty bloody good. Brain skill. I mean, the speed at which AI learns, forget it. You can't compete. There's an argument for saying that how intelligent you are will pretty soon be irrelevant. It's about how effectively you use your time and how effectively you use AI. This will be what takes people forward. I mean, there's going to be AI soon. You could probably say to it something like, okay, AI, here's 10 grand, go and make me 100,000 selling on Amazon. It will be able to figure it out. Absolutely astonishing. I mean, I've been really able to improve my fitness, my weight management and everything just by discussing it with AI, giving it my numbers, getting feedback. I'm lifting personal bests. I'm not as much of a fatso as I used to be, and I understand my diet a lot better. Why? Because this will turn me on to AI. AI gives you the info, and it's personalized. It's like having a personalized Google that will speak to you and listen to you. It's been teaching me Polish as well, because I've got a couple of Polish colleagues at work, and I practice with them, and they're amazed. Oh, your pronunciation. So I had to tell them I used to live there, which gave the game away a bit. But I might learn Mandarin. Mandarin's a nice language. There's one word I know in Mandarin, shui, which is tree, which is just such a good word for tree. The book is brilliant. I read it whilst I was on holiday, which is why I didn't review it straight away, because I was having so much fun. Brilliant and terrifying. And if you just want a general interest book, read this. If you want a book about AI, read this. If you want a good read, you've got nothing else to read, read this. Really fascinating. I could just go on about it, but if I can find something specific. So DNA scissors, right? So this is great. For about 25 grand, you can actually buy AI printers that print DNA strands. So imagine what that means for the future of enhanced biology. There might be people able to create life forms soon because of AI. It's quite scary, and anybody can buy it. So when I was talking about omni-use technology, when the Nintendo, I think it was Nintendo, some form of the Nintendo game system came out in the early 90s, and the US military was terrified because they said this technology is too powerful, it's military grade and anyone can get their hands on it, they could use it to plan attacks. Compare the Nintendo to what you have now, and it's omni-use. So anybody could use it for whatever the hell they want. So there have to be controls. He talks about how there can be controls in here, and how in the past there have been controls, such as when there were first motor cars and aeroplanes, and the number of deaths was just, massive. Probably a 50% chance of dying if you get in a car, and more if you get in a plane when they started. But legislation came in, and using those models and safety and everything else, maybe we can survive AI. And if not, enjoy the ride, because it can do some really amazing things. It's getting really windy now. I'm giving this 10 out of 10. It's only 10.99. The coming wave, AI, power, and our future. Read it.